Welcome to Alignment Adventures, a podcast where we explore what it means to live a fulfilling, aligning, and present life. I'm your host, Lindsay Tanner, and I'm so dang glad you're here. Hello, my loves, and welcome back to another episode of Alignment Adventures. I'm so excited, so grateful that you are here today, and we're going to talk about one of my favorite things ever, and that is the law of attraction and manifesting. So we've talked about this quite a few times, but I want to keep bringing up the conversation, keep adding to the conversation, because it is universal law, and whether we realize it or not, it is constantly playing out in our lives. And it's really just a matter of, do we want to leverage it or do we not? Do we want to become aware of it and use it to our advantage? Or do we want to keep living unconsciously of the law of attraction? So I'm sitting here today. I've got my little buddy next to me, Arlo. He is sleeping right next to me. So again, if you hear squeaks or little sounds coming from him, just be aware of that. I've got a whole mood going on here. I've got like a little fall ambiance on my TV from YouTube. I love pulling up different ambiances, like Google any kind of ambiance, fall ambiance, nature ambiance, wherever you wish you were, there is a YouTube video for it. And yes, I am that person that is already thinking about fall stuff. It does go against things that I preach on here, like living in the moment. I am trying to enjoy what's left of summer, but let's be honest, summer in Phoenix and Arizona kind of sucks after a while. I mean, it is what you make of it. I am trying to find the presence in the present, but I'm also so excited for my favorite season, which is fall. Anywho, let's get back into today's topic, like I said. So I have seen the law of attraction, again, playing out in my life in so many different ways. And when things happen, they seem magical. Honestly, there's no other word. And they just remind me that life gets to be simple and quote unquote easy. And we'll get into what I mean by that. It is truly our minds that complicate things. Our minds are always getting in the way. And we're going to talk about all the ways that we can work past that today. But before we get started, let's just review what is the law of attraction. What is manifesting? Because those are buzzwords. Those are words you may hear a lot, and a lot of times I feel like they're not explained. I don't want to say in the best way, but they're not always explained in ways that resonate with me. So hopefully the way I explain them resonate with all of you. So the law of attraction is basically like attracts like. So it's not necessarily your thoughts, it's not necessarily what you say, but it is your vibration, your energy that attracts what you want into your life or attracts what you don't want into your life. And what I mean by your vibration and your energy, that's really your feelings, your emotions. Okay, so that is a quick review of law of attraction. That's why when you're feeling in a really easy, breezy, flowy mood, things seem to just pop up into your reality without you trying. It's a synchronicity. Like, I have so many synchronicities sometimes. I'm like, oh, that's the law of attraction working out there. That's the universe working in my favor like it always does. And that's also why when you're having like a crappy day or a bad day and you're just stuck in that rut, it can seem like everything is going wrong. Again, that is the law of attraction playing out. It is a very neutral law. Like, there's not necessarily bad or good. It is our mind and how we perceive it that makes it bad or good. So that is something to also consider. But of course, we want to attract more of what we desire into our reality. That's why you're listening. That's why you're here. You want to attract what you're desiring into your reality. We all do. We're all human. We all have different desires. And we all want more of those things, right? And remember, like I always say, you are the creator of your reality. And that is through this law, the law of attraction. Whether you realize it or not, you can deliberately create your reality. So let's get into some tips on how you can do that. My first tip for you today is to find things that inspire you. So recently I've been watching a ton of YouTube just because I've been pumping, I've been feeding Arlo, I've been, doing a lot of stuff that I need to preoccupy myself with. Like I get kind of bored. So I'll turn on a YouTube video. And for some reason, guys, that is the only thing that truly entertains me anymore. Like I don't really watch Netflix anymore. I don't really watch other shows. Not that I don't enjoy them, but I love seeing how other people are living their life, or I love listening to other people that inspire me, or I love putting on an Abraham Hicks video and listening to that. There's just so much on YouTube that has truly been inspiring me. But I have a few YouTubers I follow along there, some that are especially mothers, that it just feels comforting to watch someone who's in a similar situation and see how they deal with it. So maybe that's something that inspires you. It could be something totally else. Listening to podcasts, it can be being out in nature, it can be something in your job that you're doing or a new hobby that you have. But what's inspiring you recently? It could be a person, activity, it could be anything. But what is inspiring you? It is inspiring you for a reason. And pay attention to that. Let that inspiration guide you, because that's always guiding you to what is next. I used to say this back in the beginning of episodes. I feel like I haven't said it in a while, but what excites you and what inspires you is your North Star to your alignment, to getting more of what you desire in your life. So don't just kind of brush that off. Like if something inspires you, pay attention to that and let that guide you. Now that leads me into the next step that is so important to remember as we go through this journey. But that is letting go of resistance, letting go of the how. I have a whole episode on letting go of how things are going to happen, and I will link it in the show notes. But just to touch on this again, the how isn't necessarily our job. And that's what really trips us up. And that's when our mind comes in and blocks us. So let's say you're really trying to manifest a relationship, but you have no idea how you're going to meet that person. And you're constantly worrying about how you're going to meet that person. Or let's say you're trying to manifest quitting your job and you're like, I don't know what else I would do for a job. I don't know how else I would get money. And you have so much resistance about that. That is blocking you from your desire. The how is not your job, and releasing resistance is such a huge part of this. Now, I just listened to an Abraham Hicks video about this. Seriously, love them. I just posted a reel with their recordings on it. So if you've never heard of Abraham Hicks before, go watch my latest reel on Instagram if you're following me there at Lindsay with an A, M Tanner. But what they said was, it's not about necessarily letting go of resistance. So maybe I should reword this tip. It's more about focusing on what you do want rather than what you don't want. What happens is we find a desire, whether it's in your career or your relationships or maybe your health, and then we get so focused on how it's going to happen or how it's not going to happen or how it seems impossible. And that is your dominant thought, which turns into your dominant vibration or energy. Remember at the beginning I said the law of attraction is about what is your vibration, what is your energy. Well, if you're constantly worrying about how this thing is going to happen, that's your dominant vibration, and that is what you're attracting more of into your life. More worry, more anxiety. So it's a matter of not necessarily releasing those worries and resistance, but choosing better thoughts, choosing better actions when you're stuck in that place. And I know that can be really tough. Like it sounds simple, but that is tough stuff to do. Like when someone says, don't think about this, of course, that's all you're going to think about. So really, we're not shooting for perfection here. We're not shooting for perfect thoughts, perfect vibes, perfect energy. That is not the point. The law of attraction is perfect. You don't need to be perfect. That's another thing Abraham said. Ugh, they're just so good. I love all the things they say. Everything they say, I'm like, yes, why can't I remember this all the time? But it's not about being perfect. It's about gradually moving the other way. Another thing they say is like, imagine your resistance is a train moving one direction at 100 miles per hour. And you're trying to get your momentum to go the other way. If you're constantly worrying about how your soulmate's going to show up, how you're going to get healthy, how you're going to, find another job or find something else that's going to make you money, your momentum is going the opposite direction at 100 miles per hour. Think about the laws of physics. How hard is it to get a train that's going one direction 100 miles per hour to go the other direction? It's pretty dang hard, almost impossible, right? So gradually start going the other way. Gradually start having energy going the other way. And that means either focusing on what you do want or just completely forgetting about it. A lot of times things show up for me when I'm not even thinking about it. One of my favorite ways to manifest is to put it out there, either through journaling or, putting it out there during like a full moon or a new moon. You guys know I'm all about the moon and the different cycles, which is a whole nother thing, but that's just a really powerful time to manifest. You put it out there, write it down if you need to, and then forget about it. Go back to doing things that excite you. Go back to doing things that inspire you. So that leads me to my next tip. So after we're done, trying to let go of resistance, we are choosing better thoughts. We're focusing on what we do want, not on what we don't want. And we're gradually getting better at that. We're not aiming for perfection. You're next just going to focus on doing things that feel good. It's so simple. And every time a manifestation shows up for me, it is when I'm feeling good, when I'm feeling flowing. I'm just doing things that I enjoy. And I check an email and something that I've been trying to manifest pops up. And I'm like, okay, how many reminders do I need to just put it out there and then forget about it and focus on other things that make you feel good? It truly is that simple. So think right now, if you need to pause this, stop this, what are the things that make you feel good? What are the things that make you feel excited? Guys, I have to tell you recently, a lot's been going on. I have had the highest highs and the lowest lows, I feel like, in the last month, obviously, after birthing my son. That has been so magical. I'm so obsessed with him. I just think he's the cutest thing in the world, which doesn't every parent think that. But I've also had some of the lowest lows, just physically things keep going wrong. After one thing after another, when I fix one problem, another problem pops up. So I haven't been feeling the best physically, but I finally feel like I've worked through all of those things that needed to come up. I've released resistance around them. I kind of just let them happen to me. I allowed them. And I'm starting to finally feel good. I got the okay to work out, which I'm definitely going to ease back into that. But I'm just feeling more like myself again. And how good does it feel to feel good after you've been feeling crappy for so long? That is when you feel the best. And then, of course, over time, we take that feeling good for granted. Why does it take us feeling crappy and us being sick or something going wrong to truly appreciate just feeling good? So think of that right now. If nothing else, if you can't think of anything that makes you feel amazing, like any activity, just appreciate that you're here and you feel good. Hopefully you feel good. Hopefully you're not sick. That's just something we can so easily take for granted. But in this step, in this tip, you're really just going back to your alignment list. I've been mentioning that a lot recently because that is pivotal. That is a pillar to living an aligning life. Doing things that just make you feel good. Go outside, go to the park, read a book. Oh, I got a new book that I'm so excited about. I think it's called The Last Apothecary. It's actually a fiction book. You guys know I read, I don't want to say self-help, but self-development, spiritual books out there. But I'm finally getting back into some fiction and I'm so excited about it. And I feel like it's a good fall book. It's a little bit, I don't know if witchy is the right word, but this lady has an apothecary. It's got some feminist undertones and it's historical and it ties into something going in now. I literally just started it, but my friend said it was so good and I have to read it. So maybe it's reading a book. Maybe it's playing with your pet or your child. Maybe it's listening to an inspiring podcast like Alignment Adventures. What is going to make you feel good? What is going to raise your vibration? What's going to raise your energy? Because that's your point of attraction, is your energy, your vibration, how you're feeling in that present moment. Okay, and then my last tip for you guys, it kind of goes along with the first one, but basically, what are you excited about? What excites you? What excites you about your future? What thing, when you think about it, gets you excited for things coming up? For me personally, it's possibility. Like, I know the future holds so much possibility, and I try not to get too caught up in the future and think about it too much, because obviously I want to be as present as I can. But at the same time, that can be an aligning activity for me, is to dream about the future, the possibilities of the future. I have ideas of what I'd like to do in the future, like build this podcast, build my business, live in a van, travel, go all over the world with Arlo and Steven. I have so many things that I would like to do in the future, but I also know that there are things in my future that I haven't even dreamed of yet, and that is a possibility. But you know what feels aligning for me is to think about those things that excite me in my future and take action steps, small baby steps now that can get me closer to those things. And that is a delicate balance. That is a double-edged sword, because sometimes you can get overwhelmed and that can lead to resistance, which is lowering your vibration, lowering your energy. So let that thing excite you and just do one small baby step towards that thing. It can even be like planning out multiple steps. That's a small baby step. It can be taking the first step of whatever you think it may be to go towards that thing. So for us, van life is a very, very real possibility. I'm not super attached to it, but I would obviously love to do that with Arlo. So an aligning activity for me can be watching YouTube videos on van life. It can be, planning our route or trying to plan our trip. When are we going to do it? Blah, blah, blah. Little baby steps. How can I work towards that thing? And just let yourself be excited about whatever that thing is. So whatever it is that is exciting you, just let yourself think about it. Let yourself daydream about it a little bit. You can even script it. Like, that is a powerful manifestation tool that I've heard people talk about. Script yourself doing that thing, like your dream day almost, or whatever it may be, and then just let it go. Allow yourself to daydream about it and then let go of the resistance. The how isn't your job. If you put it out there, it's that or something better. As long as you don't get in your own way, as long as you do not self-sabotage. Because what blocks all of this from coming to you? You can have anything you desire. You're truly that powerful. You are the creator of your reality. But what blocks it is fear and doubt and self-sabotage. That's what blocks it. Otherwise, you'd have everything you desire right now in this instant. It's kind of a lot to take in. It's kind of hard to realize that, but it is the truth. It is universal law. You create your reality, and like attracts like. So if nothing else from this video, I hope you just remember that even though this seems like a lot, sometimes it's very simple. It's just a matter of doing the things that excite you, doing the things that inspire you, doing the things that feel good, and letting go of resistance. Letting go of fear, letting go of worry, letting go of doubt. And when those do come up, just choose gradually a little bit more higher vibe thoughts than where you were before. It doesn't need to be perfect, but you can gradually start moving up that scale. And I promise you, if you do this consciously and deliberately, you are going to see magic and synchronicities and your manifestations coming to you in the most unimaginable ways. I promise you. So just be curious, be experimental with this, because life's too short not to create your dream reality. Life is too dang short not to live your dream life. Life is too short not to be doing the things that make you feel good. Like, do things that make you feel good. All right, my loves, that is all I have for you this week. Again, thank you so much for joining me. This is one of my favorite topics to discuss. So if you have any questions, anything you want to talk about, please message me on Instagram. That is my favorite place to hang out. I've been having some amazing conversations with all of you about being present, all of that stuff. Again, my handle is at Lindsay with an A and Tanner. Also, go check out my YouTube channel. I have some really fun videos going up the week that this is posted, I believe. Some talk videos that are going to help you kind of work through some of the stuff that might be holding you back. So check out my YouTube channel if you haven't already. If you know anyone that needs to hear this message, please share this episode with them, share the podcast with them, because the more we can spread this message, the more we can raise the collective energy and the collective vibration, which is going to make this world a better place, which I know we all want. So I'm sending so much love, so many high vibes to every single one of you out there. And of course, I will see you next week on Alignment Adventures.